Hello, folks. Hope you're doing great. As you add on to the webinar, we're going to let some folks in. Zoom has a new feature that forces you to admit people to the room. I think a new hobby for those that don't have much to do is to hijack Zoom meetings. And if you're in the business of hijacking Zoom meetings, you need a lot more than the coaching I can give you. So I'm going to let everybody in. I see Joe Hauser coming in here. So we're going to let everybody in, and then we will get started in just a few seconds on the explanation of service. I think you're really going to enjoy this. And what we're going to cover today will be a game changer for you. Was for me in my business, it's going to be for you. So I'm excited about being with you today. Joe, I'm admitting people into the room.
Perfect. That sounds great. We're expecting several more. So are we going to give them another minute or two?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yes, we will.
Looks like we have lots of shy people this morning, Coach.
Yeah. Is everybody home in their pajamas? Come on, folks. Turn those cameras on so Coach can see you.
Coach did his hair this morning. Come on.
Good. This is the most high maintenance haircut you can imagine. I sometimes have to cut my hair twice a day. Okay, folks, especially if I got something going on at night. Just grows out like crazy.
Oh, I can imagine.
There you go. Thank you for turning your cameras on. Always good energy when I can see folks' eyeballs. There we go. Okay. All right. I see you. I see you, Vic. I need to get me a caricature like Carl has down there. That's cool. Weinberger, Dan, Ryan Teague. Okay. Joe, what city are you located in?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But we have folks from all over joining us.
I was just in Phoenix just a few weeks ago doing a full day event with Tim Story and Sharon Lecter. Sharon Lecter wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great.
He actually wrote the first 10 books with Kiyosaki, and they sold 42 million copies of that book. And we had dinner. We had dinner at her house, and she said, "This is the table. You're sitting at the table where we created Rich Dad, Poor Dad." It's pretty interesting. That
is awesome. That's
there's a
awesome.
lot of business been created there. She's a smart woman. She also wrote Outwitting the Devil, or re-annotated Outwitting the Devil from Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich for Women.
Oh, okay.
So she's a sharp lady. She lives out in Phoenix.
We're all sharp out here in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's right. There's a few slow ones out there in Phoenix, I know, but not you.
No. So it's 5 after. Coach, do you want me to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's get started. As people come on, there'll be a few folks jump on here. I will admit them as they come in.
Awesome. Great. So that being said, I'll just take a couple seconds here and thank everyone for joining us, partners, Nextiva partners, and I see some of my Nextiva colleagues are on as well, which is great. I think most of you know me, but if you don't, I'm Jo Hauser. I am the Channel Marketing Programs Manager here at Nextiva, and we are just so excited this month to have Coach Burt joining us and doing a couple workshops for us. Obviously, this morning is the first, and then we have another one next Wednesday. So if you have not registered for next week's, I definitely encourage you to, and I'm sure after you hear Coach speak today, you'll definitely want to join us next week as well. I think some of you might have caught Coach Burt last year at NextCon. He speaks around the world and coaches some of the top leaders at some of the most successful companies. I think it's been 27, 28 years, correct? I'm sure he'll correct me if I introduce him wrong. But I just wanted to welcome him this morning and thank him for being willing to come on and share some of his knowledge and experience with us today. So I know that the topic today is how to build a world-class explanation of services. So that being said, I'll turn it over to Coach Burt.
All right. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I just flew in from Houston, where I've been the last 2 days coaching companies. And I am a Nextiva customer as well. I use the Nextiva phone system in my company and my coaching company. So I'm glad to be with you. Some of you saw me speak in Phoenix, Arizona, probably a year or two ago, and I look forward to getting back in the room with you. I've been coaching people since I was 15 years old. I'm 44 now, so you were right, Joe. For 28 years, I have been studying the psychology of how to get a person to a higher level, how to engineer a person, how to perform at the highest frequencies. I first spent a decade as a championship women's basketball coach. So if you see this big gaudy ring on my right finger, that is a championship ring. It took me 10 years, 80-hour work weeks to build something from nothing. And along the way, I started writing books and about how to play at the highest levels, how to build cultures, how to win, how to engineer people. And unbeknownst to me, companies began to call me and say, will you speak to my people? Because they need a little motivation. Will you coach so that turned into, will you coach my team? And then companies begin to hire me to coach their people, primarily in how to drive revenue, how to produce sales, how to get motivated, how to activate the prey drive in a person, which is a book I'm writing, which is my 17th book, called Flip the Switch. How do you activate the prey drive in you and your team? Now, today we're going to talk about something that I think can change the game for you. I'm not a cotton candy person. I don't believe in just pop-up psychology or motivation. I believe in real tactics that helps you make real money. And that's why companies hire me. So we're going to give you a concept today that changed the game for me, and I think will change the game for you, called the explanation of service. How do you build a world-class explanation of service? Now, there's a stat that says if you make a bad first impression, it takes 21 positive interactions to overcome the first negative impression. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you think you're going to give somebody 21 more chances? If you are on the phone today, or you're on a Zoom, or you're in a face-to-face, or you are making a pitch, and you do a poor job of explaining your value, you have most likely lost the opportunity forever. Okay, I've only had one person let me come back and repitch when I did a terrible job. And I knew I did a terrible job. And I said, can you please let me come back and explain my value again? And thank goodness she did, because I've been her coach for 7 years. And when you think about this concept, most people lead with what they do, which is the biggest commodity trap in the world. What do? Oh, we have phone systems. Oh, we have technology. Oh, we help you with tracking stuff. We help you with this. And that, in my opinion, is the absolute worst thing you could do, because you are commoditizing yourself. Oh, we use technology to do this. We innovate to do this. I have a simple belief. People do business with other people that believe the same things they do. And so when you're building your explanation of service, you never want to lead with what you do. Well, we do this. We do that. That places you in a trap. And the trap is, oh, I already have that. I already have a phone system, so I don't need you. I already have this, so I don't need you. I already have, right? So you never want to lead with what you do, which is one of the first things people do. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a coach. Oh, I'm a this. Oh, I have a company that does this. I always teach people never lead with what you do. Always lead with what you believe. Okay. So when people say, what do you do? I never say, man, I'm a coach. I say, before I tell you what I do, let me back up and tell you what I believe. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. I believe a good coach can change your whole life. I believe those that have a coach earn 3 and 4 times the amount of money than those that don't. I believe every major player in the world has a coach. Let me tell you why I believe that. Okay. So a good framework for explaining your service is never lead with what you do, always lead with what you believe. People do business with other people that believe the same things they do. I believe in speed. I believe it's not the fast that eat the slow in today's, it's not the big that eat the small. I believe it's the fast that eat the slow. I believe when a man asks you to go 1 mile, you go 2. I believe in coming in early and staying late. I believe in always over delivering on what you promise. I believe that a good sales team should know exactly how many calls you made in a day, and you should be able to track and monitor those calls to coach and develop your team. How many of you guys believe some of the same things I do? Okay. Now, when you believe the same things, you move toward each other. So it's very important to get clear. I believe all conflict happens when 2 people don't believe the same things. Okay. So when you present an idea to another person, the law of diffusion tells me that roughly 16% of people will be open and inviting to that idea, meaning they're going to see it 1 to 3 times and they're going to go, I'm in, I'm interested. Okay. 34% of people need to see the idea 3 to 7 times. Another 34% of people needs to see an idea 7 to 15 times. And then you've got 16% of the people that are never going to see the idea. Those are laggards. Okay. I like to joke and say, those are the losers of the group. Okay. Because it don't matter how good you are, they're not buying it. Okay. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because I get pitched ideas all the time. Hey, have this phone system. Oh, we have this technology. Oh, we have this app. And you get pitched so many times, you become numb to it. What I do is I want to align myself with people that believe the same things I do. So a good EOS starts like this. Here's what we believe. And I like to give 3 beliefs. Okay. And I think for your business, one of them could be, I believe it's not the big that eat the small. I think it's the fast that eat the slow. I think that's a great one. I believe that a good sales team needs to know exactly how many calls they had, how much talk time they had, and what the phone conversations were like, which is why I use Nextiva, so I can track the calls. I believe a little friendly competition helps people perform at a higher level, which is why we put up on the board every call a person makes, so our sales team can see it and I can see it. See, now I'm leading with what I believe, not what I do. Everybody see that? So the first step of a good EOS is you need to come up with 3 killer beliefs. And they don't have to do with selling the phone system or the technology. They could just be personal beliefs that you have. Okay. The second thing you need to do is you need to give me a reason why you believe that. And this kind of needs to be emotional, in my opinion. So for example, I say, man, I believe that everybody needs a coach in life. I believe that because I was raised by a single mother who had me when she was 16 years old, and she used to work 2 jobs. She used to take me down to the local baseball field where I would stay for hours and hours. And one female coach that was coaching Little League Baseball named Mickey Vincent cared for me and tended to me and watched after me. And that woman said to me at 6 years old, son, one of these days, you're going to be a great coach. You see, when I was down at that ball field, guess what I saw? I saw how coaches tended to other people's kids. I saw how they helped them reach their potential. I made up my mind very early in life, man, everybody needs a person like this in their life. Now imagine 38 years later, I'm 44 years old, how much conviction I have about this. So when I'm explaining my explanation of service, I say, man, let me tell you what I believe. Now let me back up and tell you why I believe this. Okay? Because many times I don't know why you believe what you believe. I need to know. You need to give me a reason to go, you know what? I believe the same thing this person does. If I believe the same things you do, I move towards you. If I don't believe the same things that you do, I move away from you, right? This is real simple. The reason the presidential candidates need to debate, if they actually debate versus argue with each other, is so we can see what they believe. Does everybody understand? You're going to vote for the person that you line up with, that you believe has the same beliefs you do. Selling is no different. Selling is, I have a set of beliefs. I'm going to share those beliefs with you. So I'm actually not selling a Nextiva system. I'm actually selling you a set of beliefs. I'm selling you a set of convictions. And if I believe this with a deep conviction, I can convince you to believe it. This is the best system. This is what you need for your business. This will help you produce more money. This will help you, right? If I believe that, okay? Now, if I don't believe that, then I'm going to move away from you. If I want the cheapest phone system, I may move away from you. If you don't articulate the value, I may move away from you, okay? So you lead with what you believe, not what you do. And I'm going to show you how to do this in a sales pitch, in a meeting in just a minute. I want to give you the framework first. First, here's what I believe. 2, let me tell you why I believe this. 3, let me explain to you what it is we do. This is something that trips people up so many times. Like if I ask you, what do you do? What do you do? A lot of people get nervous. They can't explain it. It seems confusing. Like, what do you do? Well, there's really 3 things we do. We do this, and we do this. Okay? You need to be able to explain. Like as a coach, I take complicated concepts and I make them simple. I activate and reactivate the prey drive in the people I coach so they can produce more, right? I package and deliver content in a way that gets people to take action. I routinely help the people I coach get a 43% increase in a 1-year cycle. This is what I do. Notice I didn't say coach. Now, Thomas Lane, why did I not use the word coach? Any idea? You can unmute yourself. Jan Ferguson, I'm going to give you a shot. Why did I not use the word coach?
Coach is kind of a unknown. That doesn't say anything.
Yeah, there's 700,000 people in the United States that call themselves a coach, folks. Many of them have never coached anything, won anything, built anything, sold anything, and they're calling themselves a coach. How many of y'all have seen a coach like that? Okay, which gives all of real coaches like me a bad name. So coach has become a commoditized term. The average income of those coaches is $47,000 a year. Now, let me give you just one strong piece of advice. You do not want to get coaching from somebody making $47,000 a year to grow your business. Does everybody understand that? I am in the top 0.0001% of money earners in the coaching profession on planet Earth, which shows you I know how to package a concept, sell a concept, monetize a concept. I know how to build a business. I know how to get a customer. I know how to follow up. I know how to get referrals. I know how to position. I know how to market. Most of those people, the reason I don't use the word coach is because it's a commodity. Okay. Innovation is a commodity word. Technology is a commoditized word. You need to stay away from these words where a business owner sitting there like, oh God, here we go again. You know, they're going to use these words. I've already been told this 17 times. Okay. This is why I come out of the gate strong, man. I believe it's not the big that eat the small, I believe it's the fast that eat the slow. Okay. I believe in this, and this. I believe a good sales team should be tracked, monitored, and trained. Because of those beliefs, here's what we do. We put together one of the best systems in the world that allows you to do this, this, and this. Everybody see how clear I am, right? See how I'm working through this framework? Now, what I want is I'm looking for that person to go, dang, this is good. Like, this is what I've been looking for. I've been looking. Money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve that problem. Yes or no? Okay. Now, this is what I believe. This is why I believe it. Because of these beliefs, this is what we do at our company. It's very important. You got to be able to explain it. This is what we do. Boom. We do this, we do this, and we do this. Let's make it simple. Don't make it complicated. Okay. The next step is tell me how you do it different than other people. Okay. I'm a business owner. Okay. I'm a coach. I can't cook. I'm geographically illiterate. Okay. But I can coach and I can run a business. If you try to explain to me what is the difference between Nextiva and Comcast. You know, Comcast is very popular where I live in Tennessee. Why do I not need a Comcast system if it's $200 cheaper? You see, this is how people think. It's like, what can your system do that the other system can't do? I asked my president of my company during the pandemic to find $250,000 to cut out of our budget. Do you know one of the first things she suggested we cut? The Nextiva phone system. Okay. You know what I said? Tell me why you want to cut it. She said, well, I'm not sure that we're getting our money's worth. I'm not sure. I said, well, the relationship I have with the rep, I'm not cutting it because the relationship I have with the rep that sold it to me. So find something else to cut. But she recommended I cut it. Now, not because there's anything wrong with it, not because it doesn't work, because when times get tough and people are trying to find something to cut, what do they go looking for? They go looking for anything, right or wrong. You got to understand, folks, I'm a coach. When times get tough, they're looking at, hey, can I afford this guy? Can I be involved with this guy? Do we need to cut this service? Is this a must-have? Is it a nice-to-have? You need to be able to show people with our system, this is a must-have, not a nice-to-have. This is what we do. This is how it's different than the competitors, because the average cat doesn't know. Y'all understand that, right? You know, but they don't know, right? Just what Jan said. When you say the word coach, most people don't even know what that means. You need to be able to say, this is what we help you do. This is how it's going to work. This is how we do it different than all the other people in the world. All right. The next step is this. Who have you done it for? You need to be able to give me social proof. And social proof is, if I don't know you and I've never met you, give me some proof of who you've worked with. Give me some examples. Give me some tangible examples of success. Okay. How we've worked with this company and this company and this company. And let me give you some of the results that we've had with those people. If you study persuasion, there are 6 tenets of persuasion. And one of those tenets is social proof. Okay. So if I'm working in an industry, I give an example of that industry. Let me give an example of a mortgage company I work with that I helped make $20 million more in a 1-year cycle. Let me give an example of a sales rep, of a Nextiva sales rep that I started coaching that had no direction, no focus, no clear selling system, no good explanation of service. And in 1 year, I was able to help him get totally clear about what he believes, why he believes it, what he does, how he does it different, who he does it for. And that resulted in him being able to sustain his business during a down period. Okay. What you need to do is you need to give me proof of what you've done and who you've done it for. Okay. And all of this is building momentum up until the ask. And the ask is something so many people are afraid of. Okay. The ask is, Mary, if I could do this for you, like I have done it for all these other people, what would stop us from moving forward with each other? Everybody see that? Mary, it sounds like this is exactly what you need. Let's go ahead and get the paperwork turned in so we can get your system up and rolling. Mary, out of everything I shared with you, what piqued your interest the most? That's my sweet tea and apple pie version because I'm from the South. So if you're scared to ask hard, you just, like I come out of the gate and I say, Darren, man, it sounds like you want to do this. What would stop you from doing it right now? Because I'm a direct person, right? But some people need to ask it softer. Darren, out of everything I shared with you, what piqued your interest the most? He may say, well, I really like this speed thing. I really like the ability to track. Okay, great. Let's unpack that. So a good EOS explains what you believe, explains why you believe it, explains what you do, explains how you do it different, explains who you've done it for, and then it asks the question, if I could do this for you, what would stop us from moving forward with each other? This is how you explain your services in a world-class way. Now, how is this different than an elevator pitch? Remember the old days, you had an elevator pitch, you're on an elevator, you're going up 18 floors, you got 18 seconds. What do you say? Right? Well, let me tell you what most people say. What business are you in? Oh, I'm in this business. Matter of fact, Jan Ferguson, I like you for some reason. What do you say when people ask you what you do?
Well, in the past, and I'm going to probably sink myself, I've said I'm a telecommunications consultant. I help people make their business telecommunications easier.
Okay, You might as well say life insurance, Jan.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, I sell insurance. Okay. Now here's the deal. Here's what I'm trying to say to you. If he says that to me and I'm sitting there going, great, good for you, Jim. I'm glad that you're a telecommunications expert. That's not going to pull me in. But if he says, man, before I tell you what I do, let me back up and tell you what I believe. I believe these three things. I may go, boom, I like this dude. Okay, because of my beliefs, let me tell you what it is I do. I've spent my career helping people do this, this, and this. Now I'm like, this is interesting. This is good. What you want me to say when you give an EOS is, Jan, you seem like a cool dude, which you do. Give me your business card so I can follow up with you. Everybody see that? What you don't want them to do, you know, I coach one of the #1 life insurance people in the world, makes $4 million a year. And he read my book, Person of Interest. And he came to me and he said, look, I'm doing a terrible job of explaining my services. Anytime I use the word life insurance, people shut down, right? It's boring. It ain't sexy. Nobody wants to talk about it. He said, I got to find a better way to explain this. So he started cultivating these beliefs. So what do you really believe? Well, I believe in sheltered money off the radar screen of the IRS legally. I believe that there's an attack on wealth in this country. I believe blah, blah. He come up with these beliefs. Because of these beliefs, I've created a unique strategy. And he would go through the whole thing. And then we get to the end. He said, if I could do this for you like I've done it for other people, what would stop you from investing money in this strategy? And they'd say nothing. He said, would it matter what product it is? And they'd say, well, no. And they'd say, well, it's life insurance. He never would use the word insurance. And you know why? Because insurance is a what? It's a commoditized word. As soon as he said insurance, the game's over. So when you come out of the gates and you say, man, I'm in telecommunications, I help people with their telecommunications. If I don't have a need for that, then I wouldn't think to refer you. I wouldn't think it's interesting. You got to come out of the gates strong. Okay. And when you come out of the gates, you say, there's really three things I believe. So let's go back and ask Jan the question again. And let's say, Jan, what is it you really believe? What do you really believe about telecommunications? If I said, man, you got me, I got a company, I'm looking for a phone system, what would you say you believe?
I would say, put me on the spot. I believe that if you're looking for a phone system, you should have the easiest type to use. Pick it up, make a call. Okay,
let's rephrase. You're close, man. I believe here. Let me say this in a better way for you. I believe in removing friction in the process.
Okay.
I believe there's a return on every person's energy. I believe a phone system should be easy to use, not complicated. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
I'm taking your words and I'm just packaging them up a little bit better.
Right.
How many of y'all believe that we need to create products and services that remove friction from people's lives? Raise your hand. Friction is return on energy. If it's complicated, I called my Nextiva guy the other day and I said, man, I got a problem. I don't want people to have my personal phone number. I'm coaching thousands of people around the world. Sometimes I run into crazy people. Okay. I don't want crazy people to have my phone number. So I need the app to allow me to call people through the Nextiva system and them not have my phone system. Now, I don't know how you got to make it happen. I'm going to be in 7 different states in the next 2 weeks. Figure it out. That's valuable to me. Okay. That's a problem for me. Now, what am I trying to say here, Jan? I believe in privacy. I believe not everybody should have your personal cell number, especially if you're servicing thousands of people. I believe you ought to click a button and be able to call your customers. See, right? See, what I'm doing is I'm taking your EOS and I'm just massaging it a little bit. You do have these beliefs in you. How many years have you been doing this, Jan?
About 27.
Okay. You got 27 years of experience. So you do have these beliefs inside of you. What I'm doing is kind of pulling them out of you and helping you package them better. Okay. And packaging is how you present an idea to another person. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to start doing, your assignment from today is going to be, man, what do you believe? Okay. I've got 1,000 beliefs, man. But if I was in your industry, I would believe in removing friction. I believe you want something, even if you say reliable, most phone systems are reliable, but you know, I mean, you may try to sell me on, I don't want your webinars to go down. You don't want to have something not work right in the middle of a webinar. And maybe you could sell me on that because it's very infrequent that it happens. You got to find a pain point, man. And you got to say, man, I believe in removing friction for folks when they use the phone. It should not be complicated. Because of those beliefs, we have this. And let me tell you how we do it different than all the other people. Now, you're probably wondering, we have competitors out there. You may know some of our competitors, Comcast, whoever yours is. Let me tell you 3 things we do that they don't do. Does everybody see that? I can tell you from my experiences of dealing with Comcast versus my Nextiva app, I can get the Nextiva guy on the phone. I can't get a Comcast person on the phone. Try calling Comcast and solving a problem. It's miserable. Okay. It's absolutely miserable. So if I was selling what you're selling, I would say, man, I believe that when you have technology problems, we're just 1 phone call away versus 72 people away. Everybody see that? So you got to find something that solves my problem as a business owner for me to say, you know what, I'll spend $200 more a month on that for that service. Okay. So just remember, I was explaining my services all wrong years ago. I would sit down with Rob and I'd say, Rob, I'm a great coach, man. I've been a championship women's basketball coach. I've written 17 books. I've coached some of the top people in the world. I got this great coaching program. And Rob would sit there and look at me like this. Okay, great. Then I started sitting down with people and saying this. Rob, I believe a monster producer is a legendary creature that combines multiple skills to dominate a market. Because of that belief, I've created one of the top coaching programs in the world that includes systematic, rhythmic, accountable actions every single week with a dynamic network of people. Now, let me tell you how we do this different. I still coach my coaching programs, not other people. You don't sign up to get Coach Burt and end up getting Coach Kurt like some of them other coaching programs. I'm the one that writes the books. I'm the one that coaches the people. Now, I'm going to give you all these things when you sign up for my program: a Monday call every single week, a Tuesday, Thursday rhythm, access to 2 years worth of my content. Main thing I'm going to try to do for you, Rob, is get you a 43% increase, which is what I've done for a lot of people I've coached. Now, if that sounds good to you, what would stop you from moving forward with me today? Now, at that point, Rob's going to say, I'm interested or I'm not interested, right or wrong. He's either going to object or he's going to say, I'm interested. If he's interested, that initiates a 7-touch follow-up. Everybody see that? And I wrote a book on that called $1 Million Follow-Up. He may not be interested in saying yes today, but he may go, I'm interested in that. Okay, now I got to go back to him and show him how I solve the problem. Okay, so let me go through it one more time, and then I'll take questions. First step, never lead with what you do. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm in the mortgage business. Great. The word mortgage means to death, mortir, to die. You're going to be paying till you die. Oh, I sell insurance. Okay, great. Oh, I'm in the telecommunications business. So what? None of these things pull a person in, folks. Hey, what do you do? Before I tell you what I do, let me back up and tell you what I believe. Okay, let me tell you why I believe that. Let me tell you what it is we do. Let me tell you how we do it different. Let me tell you some people we've done it for. Now, if this sounds good to you, let me get your business card. We'll follow back up and talk about it. That is a world-class EOS. Now, how is that different in different settings? You're not going to have a chance to unpack this big concept in short time periods. So sometimes people say, what do you do? I say, I believe every top performer in the world has a coach. I routinely help people get a 43% increase in their business. And if you're interested in talking about that, just give me your number and we'll follow up and do a strategy session. That's a shortened EOS. It's a statement of belief. It's an example. It's a call to action. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, let me give you 4 steps to the sale and where this all fits in. When I'm calling people today, and I'm trying to sell something or present an idea to something, because selling is just presenting an idea, I use a formula. And the formula is, number 1, I'm going to initiate. I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to send a text message. I'm going to send a video. I'm going to initiate. If I get them on the phone, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disarm. And the way I disarm is I build a connection. Joe, where you live? What part of the world you live in, Joe? Joe said, I live in Phoenix. I'm in Phoenix. Oh, great. I was just in Phoenix last week. I had dinner with Sharon Lecter. She sold 42 million copies of her book. What I'm doing is I'm connecting. I'm disarming, because I don't want Joe's croc brain to be alerted. The croc brain is scared of everything, which means every time you call a person, they're like, oh, what's this person want from me? They're trying to sell me a phone system. I connect to people by using humor and connection. Then I locate a problem. Okay. Now, Joe, tell me what you're trying to do with your business. Joe says, well, I'm trying to do this, this, and that. Okay, great. Then at that point, I lead into, after I've located a problem, I lead into my explanation of service. So, Joe, there's really three things I believe. I believe trained people always outperform untrained people. I believe coach people always outperform uncoached people. I believe you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. Now, based on my 28 years of coaching experience, coaching some of the top people in the world, there's really three recommendations I would make for you to get you to the next level. Boom, boom, boom. Now, you're probably wondering how I do it different to Tony Robbins. Well, we're not going to walk on any coals, Joe, when we go through this process. I'm not going to ask you to hug somebody beside you or massage anybody while we're doing this. Okay. I'm going to come in every single week, and here's what I'm going to do. And when you sign up for my coaching program, Joe, you're going to get me. You're not going to get anybody else but Coach Burt, because I've structured this in a way for all the people I coach to get me. Now, Joe, if I could do this for you like I've done it for all these other people, even the Nextiva people that I've coached, and I'd love to put you on the phone with one of them that I've coached, would that be of interest to you? And Joe's going to say, yeah, sounds good. What's our next steps? And I'm going to say, well, here's the next steps. I'm going to send over the agreement right now. I've got your attention, so I want to make sure you get it. I'll make sure you sign it. I'm going to have you up and rolling by Monday of next week. Okay. Now, notice what I just did. I initiated, I disarmed, I located a problem, I shared my explanation of service, and I pushed her to something in the future. Did everybody see that? Now, if Joe says I'm not quite ready to make a decision, hey, no worries. Let me send you a breakdown, Joe, a video that I did on this concept that can really help you. I'm also doing a free webinar coming up in a few weeks. I want to get you on that webinar because I think it'll be really valuable to you. It's no cost to you, no obligation. I push Joe to something in the future. The sale is not always made on the first time. I want to push Joe to something where she can taste the ice cream a little bit. And if she tastes the ice cream, she goes, man, I like this dude. He can help me. He can help me make more money. Good. Boom. Now she's ready to go. So it may take me 3 touches. Remember that law of diffusion? It may take me 5 touches. It may take me 7 touches. But if Joe is interested, the only reason she's interested is because we believe the same things. Okay? If I call Joe and she says, I got 2 minutes, explain your service. Joe, I believe everybody needs a good coach. I routinely help people like you get a significant increase in their business. If I could help you do that, would you schedule 15 minutes for me to show you how to do it? That's simple. Belief, example, call to action. Okay? Now, where are we missing right now? Rob, where are you missing in your EOS?
It's hard to say. I'm assuming you're talking to me.
Yep.
Yes, Rob. Okay. What am I missing in my EOS?
Yeah, where do you think out of that you could really use that?
Oh, I could use it. Well, I could start with, I definitely like the idea of starting with believing, starting with what you believe in. I've done the same thing as Jan did, was just commoditize myself.
Yep.
And had a hard time explaining what exactly I did. One of the questions I had to go find from you is, what happens when people ask you for price right off the bat?
Yeah, what they're trying to do is commoditize you. What I say to them is, we'll get to that.
Okay, okay.
And that's what I say to them when they come out of the gates. How much does it cost? I say, before I tell you how much it costs, let me explain how it works, because there's a difference between what something costs and what it's worth. Okay, and what I try to sell to a person is what it's worth versus what it cost. Okay, now I'm here at a mortgage company in Nashville today, and I asked this company for $1 million for me to be their coach. And you did hear that correctly, $1 million. Mm-hmm. And but what I have to convince them of is that with me as their coach, they can make $20 million more dollars. And giving me $1 million is just a little bitty piece for the amount of money they can make. Because the mortgage business is thriving right now. As you know, refinances are at an all-time low. The CEO of this company was hired by a billionaire to come in and turn it around. If I just said, man, it's $1 million before I even show him what I'm going to do. So I didn't do that. I sat down and I said, I gave him examples first. And I gave him a text message and said, this is another CEO of another mortgage company. And I asked him how much money he had made since hiring me as being his coach 10 years ago. And he said, I can't calculate it because it's in perpetuity. We're still making money off hiring you 10 years ago. He said, it's at least 20 million or more. and we're making money. And I gave him that text message first. So which part of the EOS did I lead with? The social proof. So I said, before we get started, I wanted to give you some proof from another CEO of how much money they've made off hiring me as their coach. And he read it in the meeting. And I said, now, you know what? Here's a couple beliefs that I have. I believe trained people outperform untrained people. Right now, your team does not have an explanation of service. They don't have a selling system. They don't have a follow-up. They don't have an extraction of referral. And we don't have a person of interest strategy. What I'd like to do over the next year to 2 years is I would like to come in and implement all of these things. My belief is you're going to make 20 million, 30 million, 40 million more dollars as a result of this coaching. All I'd like to have of that is 1 million. Okay. And which is a very small number. There's a big difference between what it costs you and what it's worth. If I can convince him that he can make 20 million or 30 million or 40 million, then the cost of it seems very minimal, right or wrong?
Right.
And this is what you have to sell with the phone systems. You have to convince me that the cost of the phone system, and it's not even that expensive. I don't know how much it costs. What, $400 or $500 a month?
Yeah, it's not expensive.
Goodness gracious, it's not cost. But to small business owners, the number one thing I deal with is people, small business owners, scared to death to spend money. Okay, if you could listen to some of the conversations I have hear about money every day. We had a person the other day. We shipped them a book that they paid $9.99 for it, and they wanted the money back because they didn't think the book was thick enough. Now, this is the world we live in, folks. People are scared to death to spend a dollar. They're scared to. So when you're selling a phone system, they're sitting there going, well, we could get Comcast for $289, and your Nextiva system is $489. That's $200 difference. That's $2,400 more dollars in a year. You got to be able to say, I understand. Yes, you could get that system for $200, but what you can't get are these 7 things. And these 7 things are going to help you make more money. And let me show you how much more money I think you can make as a result. So I don't sell what it costs. I sell what it's worth. And this is a business. When you commoditize yourself, like Rob said, the worst thing now you're in there with Comcast. Now you're in there with whoever else sells phones. You don't want to be in there with them, folks. They got more money. They got more marketing. They got more brand recognition. You don't. It's like me trying to compete with Tony Robbins. I don't want to compete with Tony Robbins. What I want to say is I love Tony Robbins. I think he's great. I've been to Unleash the Power Within. But Tony Robbins is not going to coach you. You're never going to get him on the phone. I'm going to be coaching you. And that's my differential advantage over him. I don't want to go head to head with him. You don't want to go head to head with Comcast or whoever else you're competing against that's got more money than you. Everybody see that? So where do you win? You win in how you articulate your beliefs and your value and your call to action. That's the only place you can win, man. Okay. And I'm telling you from a small business owner who has the Nextiva system, I think it's a great system. I don't even know how the whole thing works, to be honest with you. I got a whole team of people. I just say, man, how do I call out? How do I use the phone? Somebody get somebody on the phone for me. Like, how do I use, the number one thing I want to do right now is use the app. Okay. So I can call out if people don't have my personal number, because I'm coaching thousands of people and I don't want people having my personal number because they call me at 4:30 on Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock on Saturday night. When they have a breakdown, they want to call me. When they're in London, they're awake when I'm asleep, and I'm asleep when they're awake, so I don't want them having my number. So my point to you is that's a problem for me. So I want you to just go back to something. When you are articulating your value, you are not a commodity. You have worked your whole life. You have unique experiences. You have a unique product. You have a unique delivery. So don't commoditize your own self by the way you explain your value. Okay? Come out of the gates with some pop, okay? All right, let's take some questions. You can raise your hand, I'll call on you, or unmute yourself. I'll tackle anything you want. As a customer of Nextiva, I'll tackle anything, or just as a human being, a fellow human. All right, Dan, go ahead.
Hi there. I'm just kind of curious, you're talking about your beliefs to, a potential customer. How do you get past, let's say you're making a cold call or pick up the phone and you got a front gate. You're not going to want to hear the beliefs. They just want to see what they can do to screen you out. How do you get past them to get to your person?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I do have gatekeepers. Here's my number one thing, Dan. I bring a lot of energy. I try to win with energy. So my first sale is to the gatekeeper is I try to build rapport. I go through my cycle. I initiate, I disarm. And then I try to build with those people. I try to say, man, I got something real important to say to that person, but I can't say it if I can't get to you. Now I'm smart enough to know I got to win you over so you can go win them over. Okay. And so, man, I do all kinds of things. I send them stuff. I work people around them. You know, right now I'm working a deal where I'm working the CFO and the CEO and the lead national sales director, and I'm working all of them. I'm like, hey man, I can't get in touch with this one. Can you help me? I need your help. And a lot of times people want to help you, but I think that you're right. That's not a time to share your EOS when you're trying to get through the gatekeeper. It's a time just to try to win them over and try to get a minute. And I don't even think you need to say 15 minutes. All I need is 2 minutes, man. I need 2 minutes of time to explain my value.
Thank you.
Yep. Good question. All right. Other questions? This is a big concept, folks. Hard for me to teach this to you in 42 minutes. Okay. This is something I've worked on for years, this is one of the things we coach on in our coaching program, because I believe having something to say is just as valuable as having somebody to say it to. Okay.
Kind of a silly question.
Okay.
What's EOS?
Explanation of service.
Okay.
Explanation of service. Now, there is a book out there called EOS that some people get it confused with. That is the Entrepreneurial Operating System. But EOS in this situation is your explanation of service. Great question. Okay. Vic, you seem like you're buying in today. What's up? Hey, I called on him and I lost him. Okay. What other questions do you have? You can type them in. There you are. When you come in, Vic says. Okay. Michael Chapman said, I used to say that. Now just say I'm an IT consultant. Yep. I would never say that again. Okay. And let me tell you why, folks. You're not trying to bore a person to death. Okay. You may be an IT consultant, but how many IT consultants are in the world? You don't want to say that. You want to differentiate yourself. When I'm flying, people always see my championship ring when I wear it, and they always look at it for a few minutes, and then they get up enough courage to ask me what it is, and then they ask me this question almost every time. They say, is that an NFL championship ring? And I'm only 5'6", folks. If you saw me in person, I'm thinking, do I look like an NFL football player to you? No, I don't. But I don't say that. I just think it. Okay. Here's what I say. I used to be a championship women's basketball coach, but I retired from that. And people always say, retired? How old are you? Like, what do you do now? And I say, well, before I tell you what I do, let me tell you what I believe. Man, I got a deep belief that everybody needs a good coach in their life. And many times I say, have you ever had a good coach? And the people who've had a good coach go, oh yeah, man, I had a great coach. I said, so you understand the value of a coach. I said, I really spent from 18 to 31 learning how to activate the prey drive in people. Prey drive is an instinctual instinct to see something with the eyes and have the guts to go get it. And I started writing books on that when I was 25 years old. That led me out into corporate America. So today I'm hired by some of the top companies in the world to activate that prey drive in their people. That typically helps them get a 43% increase. Many times people say, oh, that's interesting, man. Tell me about your methodology. And I said, well, I was scripted by Dr. Stephen Covey for 7 years. I understand the whole person theory, body, mind, heart, and spirit. And I've developed this 6-step system that kind of helps you do it. And I break it down. And many times they'll say, here's my business card, man. I've been looking for a coach. I need somebody to help me do that. Okay. So the way you explain it, and that's not the primary purpose, is when you're on an airplane, but when you're in front of people, when you're giving your sales pitch, when you're trying to generate a sale, you need to be able to lead with what you believe. All right, Vic, you ready to come in the game?
I got a question.
Okay. All right. All right, hold on just a second. All right, go ahead, Carl C.
So most of your interaction is being done face-to-face, and that is excellent. That's my preferred approach. But for example, can you use the EOS that you've described here and put it on a web page or put it on a Facebook page or those kinds of things in order to show people who you are and how you're different and so forth?
Yeah, that is a really, really good question. Yes, I use it in my email follow-up. I may say, Carl, it looks like you and I believe the same things. Because of our beliefs, I think it's going to be a great partnership. There's really 3 recommendations I'm going to make for you. There's 2 or 3 ways we do it different than other people. There's 2 examples in here of other companies I've worked with Now, if this sounds good to you, click here and let's get started. So I use it on my website. I use it in my ad copy. If you watch any of my videos, and I would encourage you, if you follow me on Instagram or YouTube, you will see me say over and over and over, I believe everybody needs a coach in life. I believe a good coach can activate the prey drive in you, right? Right now I'm in a series, like a 21-day series where I'm doing a video a day. And I always start off with my beliefs. And so you would never see me do an interview, a podcast, put together ad copy that does not include this framework. Because what I'm trying to do, Carl, is I'm trying to separate out quickly people that don't believe the same things I do, if that makes sense. I would rather know in 15 seconds than chase somebody for 15 months. So when we go back to having events, and hopefully I'm going to speak at the next Steve event, right, Joe? Okay. And I'm going to get up on that stage and I'm going to say, hey, guys, I'm Coach Micheal Burt. I got 3 things I believe. How many of you believe the same things I do? And the people that raise their hand, I typically know in the first 15 seconds. Carl, those are the people most likely to buy my books, most likely to buy my coaching programs, most likely to identify with me. See, when I watched the first debate the other night, the presidential debate, I wanted those guys to say, this is what I believe. Because of these beliefs, this is the action I would take as president. Everybody understand? Then I can make up my mind, yes or no. I'm in, I'm out. I believe it, I don't believe it. See, that was a perfect opportunity. Like if you gave me 10 million people watching me on television and I share my beliefs and I share them hard enough, you're going to have a percentage of people that go, I'm in with that dude. Then you're going to have a percentage of people go, I'm out. And that's okay. There is no right or wrong here, right? Like it's okay if you don't believe the same things I do. We just probably don't need to do business with each other. All conflicts happen when you don't believe the same things. Okay. I have a high D daughter. She's 8 years old. I've got a 3-month-old son. And me and my wife don't believe the same thing about spanking our daughter. Okay. My daughter's tough. You spank her, she just gets tougher, man. I don't know. Right. Like it don't change her behavior. And my wife's like, well, no, I grew up, we spanked, well, I got spanked. We're going to spank her. And I'm like, look, we've spanked her. It don't work. It don't change her behavior. We don't line up on what we believe here. Let's find a third alternative. Let's try a different strategy. Let's read the book, How to Have a New Kid by Friday. Okay. And that dude gives you the tactics and strategies. Let's just try these things. Guess what? We tried them and they worked. We didn't have to spank her. We tried a few of those strategies that dude said, and our daughter just, boom, just like that right there, started acting right. I said, see, we sat here and disagreed. We didn't believe the same things. Not that I don't believe in spanking your kid, because I got spanked as a kid. I'm just saying it ain't working, sweetheart. It don't change your behavior. And that's ultimately what we want, is to change your behavior. So let's try, right? But anytime you have conflict, it's because we don't believe the same things. I believe in being cheap. Let's say I believe in being cheap and you believe in having the best product. I'm going to go for the price. I'm going to be like, it don't matter what you got in that Nextiva system. I'm going for the cheapest one. You need to be able to say, I understand why you would want to go for the cheapest phone system, but let me make an argument of why this is a mistake. You need to be able to say, let me explain to you why it would make sense to spend $200 more here. Let me show you how you can make more money with this system versus the one you're going to be buying. Let me explain, right? Like you need to get in there and fight for yourself, man. When people say, oh, I'm just looking for the cheapest thing. Well, anytime I've ever gone cheap, I regretted it. All right, Vic, you ready to come in? I'm trying to put you in the game, big guy.
Yeah, I thank you. I appreciate that. I think we're there, all right?
Yep, you're there.
All right. So, no, I'm enjoying this very much. You're just reinforcing things that I've done most of my life. I don't have a specific question for you that I can think of, but you're just reinforcing things. I know one of the things that I've always done with people, whether it's a sales side or a service side, is, I need a price on phones, or I need you to do this. I always ask why. What are you trying to accomplish?
Yep.
And I try to dig in deeper than just having a commodity transaction. So I just really enjoy everything that you're sharing with us.
Well, I'm going to tell you something Sharon Lecter taught me. And anytime a woman's sold 42 million books and she's built a $100 million brand, I listen. When we had dinner in Phoenix, she said to me, we sat down and she said, I'm going to ask you one question. What do you want to do? And I said, oh, it's simple. I want to be the next Covey. I was so scripted by Dr. Stephen Covey. I want to be the next Covey. a dynamic covey. And she said, okay, then let me show you how you can do it. Here's her point. She said, if anybody tries to tell you what you should do before they ask you, what do you want to do? All they're trying to do is sell you something. So when I talk to people, I say, I got to ask you a real important question, Darren. What do you want to do? And Darren says, there's 3 things I want to do, coach. Okay. Based on my 28 years of experience coaching some of the top people in the world, here's my recommendations on what I think you need to do. Now, it's up to you to do it. Can't make you do it, but you ask me, and I'm going to tell you. If you ask me, what do you want the phone system to do, coach? I would tell you I want it to track and monitor my sales team so I know how many calls they're making. I want to be able to train to it. I want to make it competitive because I believe in high pay drive environments. I want to be able to use the app. I want it to be easy. I don't want any friction. I want my people to be well trained in it. And if you just ask me, I would tell you, this is exactly what I want as the business owner. If you say, great, let me show you exactly how we're going to do this. Okay. It would be an easy sale. Yes or no? And I would give you a chance to explain your value. Okay. I would give you a chance. Now, I'm going to close this out here I'm going to share my screen for a second and just show you a few things. This is my website. Okay. If you notice, I'm trying to position myself as the world authority on activating Pray Drive. If you go to one of the things I want to show you, because you may want to go deeper. If you go to my store, you'll see that a lot of my top books are free. Now I'm going to tell you, they're $9.99 to ship those. Okay, so you pay the $9.99, but you get the book. And so what I would recommend for you guys, Inside the Mind of a Monster, which explains all of my selling systems. If you're looking for confidence, swag. Okay, if you're difficult to deal with, buy a copy of this for your wife, Living with a Monster. This is a book my wife wrote. Okay, how do you live with an obsessed person? Person of interest is really popular. That's what I've done with the next Nextiva rep that I'm coaching. If you struggle in follow-up, $1 Million follow-up, and if you want to go deeper on the EOS, it's this book right here. Everybody Needs a Coach in Life. Okay, so you just go to my site. It's $9.99. If you're interested in talking more about coaching or me being your coach or any of our retreats, I do all kinds of events. Some of you would be interested in these. This weekend, I'll be in Vero Beach doing the Scale with Speed retreat. That's where I'm teaching people how to scale something up with 2 of the best guys in the world. This guy right here sold a technology company the first time for $75 million, then turned around and resold it again for $600 million. Selling technology, just like you folks. Okay. So that's the kind of people I partner with. So on our event page, it shows you, there's me and my wife are doing a retreat for 20 couples next weekend in Florida. Living with the Monster. This is a boot camp. I'm going to put this one in here because I actually think this will be the one of the number one things I think you guys need to participate in. And this is a very low cost thing. This is a 1-day virtual summit with me. Okay, where I'm going to be breaking down my entire sales system called Flip the Switch. That's a new book I'm writing. So it's October 29th, 10 to 4. I would purchase it just to have all my whole selling system. I'll go through EOS, selling system, follow up. It's a virtual event. Okay, so that means you can purchase it and watch the replay. I'll put that one in there for you. It's $57. So if you got sales team members, that would be incredible for them. I'll go through how you explain your service, how you follow up. I'll go through how you work the selling system. I'll go through how you extract referrals out of your current clients. That will be a big day. It's $57, folks. So trust me, if you don't get your money's worth, I'll send the money back to you. If you can't take a full day and make more than $57, and I tell you we need to find a new profession for you, right? All right. Anybody got any questions? 36 of you stayed on the whole time. I want to thank you for that, man. Joe, these are the winners right here. They're not the laggards. These are the real deal, folks.
Absolutely. Got their names down. Do you want to talk real quick before we end just what you're going to cover next week?
Yes, I do.
Great.
And people are asking some questions about how do you get, if you type in there, if you'll email me at coach@coachburt.com, Okay, I'll put it in here, my personal email address. Hey, I'm not going to give you my personal number. Okay, I'll call you on the next Steve app on that one. But there's my personal email address, coach@coachburt.com. If you will email me, I will do a strategy session with you where I just listen to what you want to do, and I'll make a recommendation on what I think you need to do. Could be come to a boot camp, could be in a coaching program, could be let me coach your team. There's all kinds of things. Now, Joe has got me talking next week about how to attack a day. How do we work a selling system? And I wrote a book on this called Legacy Selling. Okay. Darren saying, oh, I see what it is, Darren. It's not letting me put it in there. Okay. Let's see. Everyone in the meeting. There we go. Sorry about that. There you go. Everyone in the meeting. Let me know if you can see that. There is my personal email. That'll come straight to me. Okay. Next week, I'm going to talk about how to eliminate the time confusion and how I sell every day. I have a cadence and a rhythm to how I go after something. And it has to do with how I put people into categories. So you'll hear me talk about a hit list, a farm club, a top 25, net promoters, showcase events, and all the people I coach, I have them on this selling system. What they're doing is they're having a series of calculated activities every day to drive up the probability of making a sale. And I created this over the last 10 years. It's called the Legacy Selling System. And that book is free on my website as well, Legacy Selling. But that's what I'll be covering in next week's webinar. So I hope to see you back. Thank you for your time today. You guys are awesome, man. Y'all are very coachable, very humble, and I'm here to help you. So I'll get the replay to Joe. Joe can distribute it to everybody. And if you're interested in knowing anything else or just talking to me, just coach@coachburt.com. And God bless you guys and have a great day. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.